Hello everyone, and welcome back to Besiege. So in my last video, it was pointed out to me that I glossed over how to do the controls, so let's do that now. So as I tried to explain, each layer of motored wheels determines a particular aspect of the quadcopter's design. So whatever layer you put the wheels on, whatever controls you map, are actually quite irrelevant. Like, this layer can be whatever it wants to be. So that's the first thing, is each layer of wheels has no particular order, and that's good to keep in mind. The only other real thing you need to keep in mind is which two sets of propellers are going to be spinning clockwise and which two counterclockwise. Now, the reason they're spinning in opposite directions, these two are going to be counterclockwise, by the way, for my purposes, is because if you have them all spinning in the same direction like this, which is your yaw, this is going to be the yaw layer, which I map to J and L for my purposes, but you can map them to whatever. Whichever, each layer is based on raising and lowering lift on one side or the other. So this layer, just because it's already down, is going to be the yaw layer, which is how it rotates across the y-axis. So how it sort of spins left or right, and I'll explain that when I'm showing that in a minute. So this first layer, all we need to do is set the controls to J and L, copy them, and paste them. And again, this can be done however. Now it's important to note that forward is the direction that the arrow is pointing on the wheels, so if I press play and hit J, they'll all spin this way, which, as you can see, is causing it to spin left, and L spins them the other way, counter to where the arrow is facing. So the next layer, for my purposes, is just going to be the forward-back layer, which is your pitch, which basically means it tilts across this axis, and I'll show that in a moment as well. So all you need to do is keep note that say, this is going to be the forward-backward layer, so if this wheel, for sake of ease, forward is going to be up in this case, and what that's going to do is have these two spinning opposite the direction they normally would for just raising and lowering, and these two lifting, and back will do the opposite, the inverse. So if I just flip this one and this one, because these two are counterclockwise, this one will lift, this clockwise will lift, this one will drop, and this one will drop. The third layer is going to be the roll, which is across the final axis, which, let's call this Y, this X, and this Z. So this is how this rotates on the Z. I'll draw the coordinates real quickly. So there's X, Y, which is Y, and then Z. So the pitch layer, which is this one, rotates across the x-axis, and the roll on the z, if that makes any sense. So now this one will stay the same direction it is, because this one is going clockwise, this one will go counterclockwise, and this one will go counterclockwise because this is, again, a clockwise spinning rotor. The fourth and final layer is simply your lift layer. Oh, I forgot to map those controls, so let's do that real quickly. Left and right. So the final layer is the raising lowering layer, which I map to Q and E, set it at 2x speed. And that's just how I do it. Again, these controls go however you want. So let's go through those controls one more time. This layer is your yaw, this one is pitch, this one is roll, and this one is just raising and lowering. So basically, when you map the controls, and I need to flip these because these two, again, are spinning counterclockwise for lift. These two stay clockwise for lift. So all you're doing is keeping track of which two rotors are lifting and which two rotors are lowering for when you're controlling the whole thing. Finally, again, you need to put the rotors on, or the propellers, whatever you want to say. These are technically the rotors. Anyway, so the last thing you need to do is put your propellers on, and the blades need to be facing, and I'll try to show this. They need to be angled upward in the direction that they're going to be spinning. Now, I don't exactly know the aerodynamic mechanics of that. I just know that it's true. When this spins clockwise, this will be pushing, the fan itself will be pushing down. And this all needs to be, flipped because they're spinning the other direction. So basically, to map the controls, you just need to keep track of which direction the rotors will be spinning. And let's give it a test flight. Looks pretty good. So that again is your pitch. Here is your yaw. No, this is your roll, sorry. Your yaw is this. This is the J and L function from earlier. Basically, you'll notice that all of the rotors are spinning in the same direction, and that forces it to rotate across the y-axis. So, hopefully that's a slightly better, if not somewhat rushed, explanation of the controls. Hope you all learned from this. That's how you set up that's how you map the controls for your quadcopter. If you have any more questions or comments, post them down below. I will do my best to see and respond to them. I will not always do a video response, but I knew that I'd messed up explaining the controls last time. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.